is going on, YouTube? Espresso Shucko here, and today we are hitting the Reg G ladder with this Dialga Origin team, and we are going to take full advantage of Dialga's telepathy ability. Telepathy here protects the user from any damaging move that its partner goes for, which means we don't have to worry about Discharge from the Thundurus, we don't have to worry about Earthquake from the Landorus, we don't even have to worry about Lava Plume off of the Chi-Yu, which means we are going to have a very, very fun time with any of these Pokemon next to Dialga. Now, the nice thing here too is Lava Plume on Chi-Yu does have a 30% chance to burn the target. It's also a spread move. It's basically fire type Discharge, which means we can break some sashes, we can get some burns, and it should be a very good time to hit physical opponents with it. We also have Discharge here, similarly enough, to cause paralysis and do some chip damage as well on the Thundurus. And then we also have just Earthquake for some raw damage from our Assault-Vested Landorus. I was originally debating on Choice Band, but I like the idea of being able to switch between my moves, so we do have the Earthquake there, as well as the Stomping Tantrum in case something does happen to Dialga, and then we're not in a weird situation where Landorus can only go for Earthquake next to one of its partners, and then we have to play Protect games. That said, we can also pair Landorus and Thundurus together. Thundurus is a flying type, which means it's going to naturally be immune to Earthquake, and because Landorus is naturally a ground type, you guessed it, we have Discquake shenanigans right there with Thundurus and Landorus. So we do have that. Thundurus can potentially slow some things down. We have Sludge Bomb as well for a little bit of chip damage to just hit some Pokemon as well. We can hit grass types, otherwise they just outright wall our electric type damage, and we can also hit some fairy types with the Sludge Bomb as well. We have Eerie Impulse on Thundurus to keep special attackers in line so that we can just get the -2 special attack drop, and then we have some speed control with Scary Face, which Chi-Yu and Landorus are definitely going to appreciate. We have Grimmsnarl here with some defensive support with Light Screen and Reflect to have the amount of damage of either special or physical attacks. We have Fake Tears here to soften up some things for Dialga, Chi-Yu, or even Thundurus by lowering the special defense of the target by 2 stages, so we do have that. We also have Spirit Break to do some decent damage at the end of the day. Dialga here is mainly just going to sit next to one of its partners while they go for their spread moves, and then just take advantage of the raw damage they cause, and capitalize on that by either dropping a Draco Meteor on something, hitting it with a Flash Cannon, or just blowing up the ground underneath them with an Earth Power. We do have that. And then we have Amoongus here with some Spore support to put some things to sleep, give them a case of the Sleepies, and then we can Rage Powder away attacks, and then use Pollen Puff to chip off opponents. Quick spoiler alert, turns out Telepathy does block Pollen Puff, which I didn't know that, so you're going to see that in one of these matches. But anyways, that's the team in a nutshell. Let's jump right on in to the battles. Alright, we've got a Terrapagos team with Tornadus, Urshifu, Fluttermane, Cornerstone, Ogerpon, and Amoongus. Dialga might be alright for that Cornerstone Ogerpon because we can hit it with a Flash Cannon. Fluttermane doesn't appreciate a Flash Cannon either. Depending on the Urshifu form, if that's Single Strike, that could be really bad for Terra Ghost, but I am Terra Ghost Dialga, so we do have that. Grimmsnarl might be alright here, depending on if we have screens. And Urshifu isn't on the field. Chi-Yu might not be terrible either. I don't mind Beads of Ruin actually giving me a special defense drop into everything on the field. Actually, Chi-Yu looks really good for that alone. Let's see here. We could also hit them with the Lava Plume. We also have Dialga just not take a Lava Plume, which could be nice. If that's not Single Strike, I can hit him with a Scary Face. If it's Single Strike, I can't do that. But I think maybe what we'll do is we'll bring Amoongus and Chi-Yu. We'll bring Dialga. And do I want to bring Thundurus? I kind of want to bring Thundurus. Not going to lie, Thundurus might be nice. Thundurus might be nice with Eerie Impulse. So we'll go with that. Hitting a Lava Plume into my opponent could be really nice because there's really good burn odds on Lava Plume, and Terra Ghost on Chi-Yu doesn't look terrible either. Now, if that is Rapid Strike Urshifu, I'm not going to live a Surging Strikes, but I can always redirect away. So it's going to be Amoongus and Fluttermane coming into Chi-Yu and Amoongus. So I don't dislike a Lava Plume right here. their booster on the Flutter, and the reason why I like the Lava Plume as opposed to the Heat Wave is I have better accuracy with Lava Plume. I lose a little bit of power on it, but I don't dislike that per se. I'm going to protect Amoongus this turn, and we're just going to go for the Lava Plume. We're just going to try to get as much damage as possible. We are sashed Chi-Yu, so even if the Fluttermane does hit me for some decent damage, I'm going to live. And honestly, I don't think the Amoongus really appreciates this too much. Now, they're going to protect on Flutter, which is fine. If they went Spore into Chi-Yu, not the greatest for me, but it is what it is. I can always Pollen Puff into Chi-Yu as well. How much is this Lava Plume going to do to the Amoongus? Is it going to be enough? It's not terastallized, so let's see right here. Not quite enough, but we do get the burn. And if they went for the Spore into Chi-Yu, well, that's unfortunate, but Chi-Yu has its sash intact. I think what I could do is I can go for the Spore into their Fluttermane, and I can attempt a Heat Wave. I mean, I don't really want to because, I mean, this is my guaranteed sleep turn. So, because this is my guaranteed sleep turn, what I could do too is I could just click the Dark Pulse. They don't get any information revealed that way for sure, and I don't mind going for the Spore into their Fluttermane. So here comes the Moonblast, which, you know what, that's a lot of damage, but I can live with that. I'm going to give the Spore off into their Fluttermane, and their Amoongus doesn't switch out, so maybe they Pollen Puff into Chi-Yu to pick it off, and if they do, not the worst case scenario. So Chi-Yu is going to go down here, but Amoongus is going to take a little bit of burn chip, which is nice. I can bring in Fluttermane, or not Fluttermane, sorry, Dialga, to deal with the Fluttermane. And honestly, Flash Cannon into Fluttermane looks really nice here, and I don't dislike the idea of going for a Pollen Puff into their Amoongus slot, because if they don't switch out, they are going to get they're gonna faint to their own burn. So I genuinely think that the Amoongus is switching. So I'll get a little bit chip damage if Terapagos comes in here. Oh, even better. It's actually going to be the Fluttermane switching out. So it is the Terapagos, so this is going to be resisted because of Terra Shell, but not the worst case scenario. If I can get the Spore into, or not the Spore, the Pollen Puff into Amoongus before they move, that's great for Dialga. Unfortunately, Dialga is going to get put to sleep before I get the Pollen Puff, but that said, not a terrible thing for me, per se. We're going to knock out their Amoongus. I can always redirect attacks away with mine. Pollen Puff into Dialga might be needed. Dialga is going to take a turn of sleep right here. Fluttermane's coming back in here. So, Amoongus looks like it is in a fairly safe position, so I'm just going to click the Flash Cannon into the Fluttermane. I'm going to Spore into the Terapagos. And hopefully Fluttermane just stays asleep this turn, and I don't have to worry about taking any major damage. Terapagos is going to Terastallize right here. What I would love to do is I would love for Dialga to wake up. I'd love to get some major damage off into the Terapagos and go from there. Yeah, that would be nice. Fluttermane stays asleep this turn. Dialga is going to stay asleep this turn, but the Terra Starstorm doesn't have any boosts, so unless this is Specs, I should be okay. How much is that going to do? Ooh, that's a lot to Amoongus, actually. Dialga's fast asleep this turn, but I can Pollen Puff Dialga, and I get the Spore into the Terapagos. So, if Fluttermane stays asleep this turn and I wake up, I can do some major damage to it. Also, that did a little over half my HP, so that might be Specs. I'm going to click the Flash Cannon into the Fluttermane, and I'm going to Pollen Puff into Dialga, because I'm worried Fluttermane's going to wake up. Fluttermane stays asleep. Good. Good. I can get the Pollen Puff off into Dialga. And we get a little bit of HP into that thing, and Dialga's still asleep too. Okay. We'll at least get a little bit of HP off into this. Okay, good to know. Telepathy. Blocks Pollen Buff. Awesome. Alright. So, in that case, I'm going to Flash Cannon into the Fluttermane. I'm going to pivot in Thundurus, and I really want to get a Eerie Impulse off into that Terapagos. If Fluttermane stays asleep, great. If Dialga could wake up and just get that Fluttermane with a Flash Cannon, I would be very, very happy. Fluttermane wakes up here. It's going to be a Shadow Ball into Thundurus. How is my bulk? My bulk is okay. I do take a special defense drop, but Terapagos stays asleep. And also good to know that they are faster than my Dialga. Dialga wakes up. Dialga does wake up, though. So, we get the Flash Cannon off into Fluttermane. Fluttermane is no longer going to be a problem. If Urshifu comes in here, I think what I do is I click Eerie Impulse into Terapagos, and I switch Dialga out. And then that way, Amoongus can take a close combat. It's going to be the Torrent instead. So, I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to click Draco Meteor into the Terapagos, and I'm going to Eerie Impulse it. And so long as Torrent doesn't get me with a taunt, I should be okay. Torrent's just going to protect. Torrent is scared of the Thundurus, but I don't care about that. I just care about getting this Eerie Impulse off into Terapagos, because that Terra Starstorm did way too much damage for my liking. Terapagos is going to wake up finally. Terra Starstorm is coming out, but with the -2 special attack, this should be okay for Dialga. Thundurus takes that no problem, and I should be getting my berry off. Yep, so what I can do here is I can discharge, and also very good to know that Telepathy will cancel out. Telepathy cancels out Pollen Puff, which is not great for me, but what I can do here, I can go for a little bit of chip into Terapagos. I can also switch if I wanted to. I think I'm going to switch in Amoongus just in case, and I'm going to go for the Sludge. No, I'm just going to go for the Discharge. Amoongus is going to take the Discharge, but at the end of the day, that's not the worst case scenario. Like, this is going to be resisted. A Scary Face into Terapagos might have been nice, but you know what? Amoongus is going to dodge the Bleak Wind. Thundurus is going to take the attack there. We're going to outspeed the Terapagos. Unfortunately, that's actually not enough to knock out the Terapagos. Do we pick up the Paralysis? No, I said that way too late anyways. Amoongus should be okay. Yeah, and even Thundurus is alright. So, I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to... Oh. Okay. There's that. I was going to click the Pollen Puff to try to get the Terapagos, but I was also debating on getting up some HP back into Thundurus. Sludge Bomb would have been more than enough. Discharge just kind of cleaned up right there too, so yeah. Anyways, I'm very happy about how Dialga worked right there. We were able to one-shot that Fluttermane, which that's a pretty decent feat considering Fluttermane has like a base 135 special defense right there. So very happy about how that worked out in the end. Alright, we've got a Shadow Rider team here with Regigigas, Medicham, Clefairy, Urshifu, Hitmontop, and the King on its horse. And that is probably a skill swap Medicham with Pure Power. I don't want to deal with that. I really don't want to deal with that at all. But you know what we're going to do? We're going to bring Mr. Fish. We're going to try to burn that Regigigas right out of the gate. And if they don't bring Regigigas and they bring Shadow Rider, I go for Dark Pulse instead. We bring Dialga as part of your lead. I think we bring Thundurus in the back. And honestly, Grimmsnarl might be really nice here, but Landorus could be nice. Yeah, Landorus could be really nice here. I think we're going to bring the Grimmsnarl for the screen support. Yeah, and plus, I'm fairly certain I have a decent chance of just disrupting them with the Grimmsnarl. Just a little bit of intuition there. Grimmsnarl's Dark typing is going to be really nice for dealing with Shadow Rider's 2 stabs. So it's Medicham Gigas. So this definitely makes me think Skill Swap. And I'm going to click Lava Plume just because of that. And I'm going to go for the Gigas right out of the gate. Yeah, Reg G can be really fast, especially when Slow Start is gone. So that's going to be a big problem for me, which I would love to just get it off the field. So I'm going to Flash Cannon and Lava Plume. If I get the burn with Chi-Yu, great. We're going to see a Terra right here. So what I should have did was I should have Earth Powered. Because if this is Terra Fire, this is not going to be doing me any favors. Yeah, this is Terra Fire. So Flash Cannon and Lava Plume, not the greatest, but we might be able to get the Medicham dealt with, which, honestly, not the worst case scenario. Not enough to knock it out. That was a critical hit. There's the skill swap. So, Pure Power Regigigas. This is not great by any means. Medicham now has Slow Start. Regigigas is going for a Drain Punch. That's a knocked out Dialga right there. Not ideal. But what I can do is I can Dark Pulse, I can Fake Tears. Actually, I think that's Clear Amulet Gigas, so I'm not going to bother with the Fake Tears. I'm going to Reflect, and I'm going to Terra Ghost. And we're going to hit the Dark Pulse into Regigigas, and we're going to go for the Reflect. Now, Drain Punch was good to reveal. Also, because Medicham switches out, Medicham now gets its ability back. So, Clefairy is coming in here. I don't dislike Clefairy coming in because I can still go for Heat Wave to get around this. Spirit Break wouldn't be the worst thing imaginable. And, honestly, Chi-Yu, if Chi-Yu lands this Dark Pulse and gets the flinch, that's great. Gigas is just going for Protect. You know what? That's fine. I'm going to get my Reflect up. And I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to Fake Tears that Clefairy. Yeah, I'm going to Fake Tears that Clefairy, and I'm going to Heat Wave. Terra Ghost on Dialga might have been good. But you know what? It is what it is. We're going to Fake Tears Clefairy. We're going to Heat Wave. There's the Follow Me, which, you know what? I don't dislike you taking a -2 Spadef drop into a Heat Wave. That's going to hurt. Yeah. And we'll get to find out what Regigigas has as well as a different... Oh, it's Heat Crash. All right. Into Chi-Yu, which... That does bring me down to my Sash, which is a little bit scary. But now that they've revealed my Sash, what I can do, I can Protect... I can Spirit Break you. And then I could Dark Pulse Regigigas after that. Yeah, there is that. So Grimmsnarl might be okay here still. Now, I cannot go for a Discharge next to Grimmsnarl with Thundurus, so that is going to be a slight problem. Grimmsnarl is going to hang in there thanks to the Reflect. Pure Power Regigigas, it's not great by any means, but you know what? We're at least going to do that. So, if it's Shadow Rider that's left, that's really bad for Chi-Yu. Medicham's coming back in, so you know what? That's fine. They can't fake me out, which is nice. I'm going to Dark Pulse into you, and I'm going to Spirit Break into the Medicham. Oh, there's Bullet Punch. Okay, yeah. All right. That's not great by any means. But, you know what? Thundurus is resistant to Drain Punch, so if I get Discharge off, that should be alright. Here comes the Heat Crash. Grimmsnarl is not taking that, so you know what? This is a really cool strategy, don't get me wrong. So I am happy to showcase it by all means. I think the Regigigas is doing a really good job. And they've definitely kept their Regigigas nice and healthy. So what I really need is for Thundurus to get this Discharge off into Regigigas and try to pick up the Para. There's going to be a Feint, which, you know what? I I don't appreciate the crit off the... Oh, okay, you're still faster than me. Yeah, that's not great by any means. Also, I'm surprised they thought I was going to go for the Protect there. I just want this Discharge to hit both of these Pokemon. And, you know what? We're going to finally get some kind of a status condition in that thing. But Thundurus just does not have the HP to carry this. Yeah. What I should have did turn 1 was I should have clicked Earth Power into the Regigigas. I should have went for the Terra Ghost, and then that way I wouldn't have taken the Drain Punch. And the other thing is I probably could have gone for the Lava Plume instead. The Calyrex Shadow Rider just comes in here and cleans me up, unfortunately. So there is that. The Astral Barrage does come in and finish me off. And you know what? Regigigas did a really good job because it basically softened up my team to the point where Calyrex could just come in and just blow on that Thundurus and knock it out. So the Regigigas did really good right there. So I definitely have no shame in showing that off for sure. I think the Pure Power skill swap was really good, and I just didn't stop it because I was hoping that I would have been able to stop it before the Regigigas got going, but unfortunately I just didn't. So good game to my opponent. All right. This is interesting. No restricted. We got a Fluttermane, Great Tusk, Iron Bundle, Dragonite, King Gambit, and Abomasnow. All right, so we've got a Series 2 team, or in other words, a Reg B team. So that is pretty cool. You know what? I think that Abomasnow is really cool, not gonna lie, and yes, that was a little bit of a pun with the cool. Dialga looks pretty good here because we do have the Flash Cannon to hit the Fluttermane, we have it to hit the Iron Bundle. Dragonite can be a little bit of a problem, but there's no Chen-Pao, which is nice, so let's see here. We can bring Chi-Yu. Chi-Yu looks really nice here, especially if we have Thundurus next to it. We can go for the Heat Waves if we wanted to. We can go for Scary Faces. We bring Dialga in the back, and honestly, some screen support might be nice. Landorus could be nice too. I think we bring Grimm in the back. Yeah, we bring the Grimm. Having some screens could be really nice, and honestly, if Chi-Yu can get some raw damage off into this, whatever the lead is, that's going to be great. Yeah, alright, so if we get the Heat Wave off, do some big damage, especially if we do big damage to King Gambit, that could be great. I gotta be weary of Sucker Punch if I want to use my Terra Ghost, though. Alright, so I think what I do here is I think I Scary Face the bundle, and I think I Heat Wave. And then this way, I hit King Gambit. King Gambit could potentially Terrastallize, though, but I think what I do is... Okay, hear me out. I think I Protect. I think I Scary Face the bundle. And then this way, I can scout to see if King Gambit Terrastallizes. If it does, great. If it doesn't, even better. Bundle is going to switch out. So you know what? That's fine. Dragonite's going to switch in, which means I can be eating an Extreme Speed, which is not going to be great by any means. Sucker Punch King Gambit could be really bad. I could Discharge. Kowtow Cleave is going into Thundurus here. That's some decent damage at the end of the day. Now, they can only Extreme Speed one of these two Pokemon, so I think what I can do here is I can Heat Wave. And I could bring in Dialga. Or bring in... they went for the Kowtow into Thundurus, so you know what? I'm going to bring in Grimm. I'm going to get up a Reflect. And then that way, too, Thundurus has a little bit of bulk going for it. On the off chance they go for the Extreme Speed into Thundurus, a Terra Normal Extreme Speed is still going to hurt at the end of the day. Yeah, alright. So, no Terra. Alright, so they probably want to resist the fire damage, which, you know what, that's fair. Kowtow is coming off into Grimm. Great. And Dragonite's going for Outrage. Okay. Which happened to go into the Thundurus slot. So, Grimmsnarl gets to survive. Alright. I'm going to... I do have my Focus Sash. I'm going to click Heat Wave. And I'm going to Spirit Break into the Dragonite. And then this way I can get some decent damage off. No Sucker Punch out of the King Gambit. Alright, so we're going to knock that out. Maybe they were thinking Protect and Reflect. So maybe they were trying to go for a Kowtow or a Iron Head into Grim. They were probably going for the Iron Head into the Grim. Or maybe if they had Brick Break, maybe they were just hoping I was going to go for the screen. Thanks to the speed drop into Dragonite off the Scary Face, Grim does outspeed it with the Spirit Break. So we do have that. Now... we know there's an Iron Bundle, which Chi-Yu can't outspeed. And we have a Flutter Mane. Alright, so... I think what we do here is... I think we Light Screen with Grim. I think we protect Chi-Yu here, and this way too, we have the Light Screen up. We dodge potentially a... Icy Wind off either one of these, and we just dodge a double up into Chi-Yu altogether. I think that's the big thing right here. So there's a Moonblast. It's going into the Chi-Yu slot. Are we taking a Hydro Pump? No, we're taking a Freeze Dry. Alright, so both of these Pokemon are significantly faster than Chi-Yu, but what I can do here is I can click Dark Pulse into the bundle. And I can click Spirit... you know what? I'm going to double up into the Flutter, because I'm pretty sure I saw Booster Energy off into the Flutter. So I'm going to Dark Pulse into you, and I'm going to Spirit Break. And plus, you have worse physical defense than Bundle does. So I think what we're going to try to do is we're going to get that Flutter Mane off the field, and then we can just let the Iron Bundle go down. So we're going to see the Terastallization coming out from my opponent. It is going to be the Flutter Mane here, so you know what? They're going to go Terra Fairy, which means they are going to become resistant to the Dark Pulse, but the Spirit Break is still going to be neutral, so we should have some decent damage there. Unless this is Grimmsnarl eating this. No, it's Chi-Yu. Okay, so they just want to see Chi-Yu go down, which, you know what? Probably for the best, if they go for Chi-Yu. We're going to see the double up. Freeze Dry does freeze Chi-Yu, which that is a little bit of a problem. But what I could do is I can get the Spirit Break off into the Flutter Mane, which that does respectable damage. I think I just let Chi-Yu go down here. I think I click Heat Wave just in case. And I think I just Spirit Break the Flutter Mane one more time. It's not going to be enough to KO, but getting a special attack drop into that, it's going to be really nice with the Light Screen, because I can bring Dialga in. And, I mean, Dialga just cleans up at the end of the day, so Dialga's going to have a nice late game role. Chi-Yu survives thanks to the special attack drop. Grimmsnarl is now taking the Freeze Dry. Grimmsnarl oh! Okay. Okay. Chi-Yu is frozen solid. Grimmsnarl is frozen solid. That's RNG for you right there. You know what? I'm going to let both Pokemon go down here, though. And this way, too, it's going to be a fresh slate here. We'll get Dialga in. Grimmsnarl falls out. We're going to get a Fake Tears off into the Iron Bundle. Dazzling Gleam is more than enough to knock out both of these Pokemon. But at least Grimmsnarl defrosted. I was really hoping the Heat Wave would have let Chi-Yu thaw out, but maybe I should have gone for Lava Plume. I think Lava Plume does that. Some fire attacks do it, some don't, which it's hard to keep track of which one is which. So we're just going to see the Freeze Dry come out of the Iron Bundle. We do have Thundurus to come in, and we have the Dialga. So Dialga handles the Flutter Mane really nice, and honestly, Thundurus can handle the Iron Bundle. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click Flash Cannon, and I'm going to hit the Terra Electric, and I'm going to hit the Discharge. Thundurus hasn't gotten to Terastallize this video yet, so you know what? I probably should have a better Terra, but I like the electric type damage coming into the Iron Bundle, and I also like the paralysis odds. And also, what are the odds of them getting a back-to-back freeze onto Chi-Yu and Grimmsnarl? Honestly, like, I think freeze dry is only like a 10% chance to freeze, so you know what? We're going to see a protect off of the Fluttermane. I'm fine with that. We're going to see the freeze dry into Thundurus. We're going to take it. We're going to get a berry. Discharge is not going to hit Dialga thanks to telepathy. And we're going to get some major damage off into the Iron Bundle. I'm fairly certain this is Focus Sashed, so I do like the idea of hitting this thing for some damage. And this way too, we're going to bring it... Oh, there was no Focus Sash right there. Bye, Bundle. Okay. I just Flash Cannon. That's all I really need. I just need the Flash Cannon to hit Fluttermane, and I'm just gonna hit the Scary Face to deal with that. Yeah, we got to see the Light Bulb on Thundurus. We're gonna get the Scary Face off in this way here too. We're gonna just cut the speed on Fluttermane, and that Fluttermane is still faster than Dialga, but you know what? That's fine. We have the Light Screen. And Dialga is going to avenge Thundurus. Thundurus, it got the Scary Face off. It wasn't enough to outspeed the Fluttermane, but you know what? This Flash Cannon, that's going to be more than enough to clean up the match. So, overall, my opponent did really good with a Reg B team since they brought me down to literally just my Dialga. Let's give them some props. Tiffany here, if that's their real name or just their in-game name, Tiffany did really good at the end of the day. They brought me down to just Dialga. The Iron Bundle, getting the freeze back-to-back into Grimmsnarl, into Chi-Yu. That was really unpleasant, especially since Chi-Yu didn't thaw out. If Chi-Yu had thawed out and landed the Heat Wave, it would have been a completely different situation. But that is the game. You have to deal with the RNG. So, you know what? I still think at the end of the day, it was a really close match. My opponent definitely handled it very good, all things considered, considering I had a Chi-Yu and a Dialga on this team. So, again, props to them, and good game to my opponent. All right, we've got a Tragos with Chandelure, which you don't see that very often, which is nice. I really do like to see that Chandelure here because I have Earth Power and Earthquake for that. So that is going to be really nice. We have Ogerpon, Cornerstone, we have Fluttermane, and we have 3 things we need to steal on my opponent's team. That's wonderful. It's beautiful. And we have a Amoongus as well. So you know what? I think a hard Dialga lead could be nice. And I think a Landorus lead could be really nice as well. Chi-Yu looks like it could be really nice in the back. And having Eerie Impulse for Tragos and Fluttermane could be really nice with Thundurus. Yeah, that can be really nice. And then if my opponent leads with something that I really don't like, I can just U-turn with Landorus and bring in Thundurus or Chi-Yu. The Ogerpon is naturally faster than Chi-Yu, and because it's Cornerstone, it's going to be neutral to my Fire-type attacks, so that's okay for a Lava Plume. It's going to be Whimsicott and Cornerstone, which, you know what? Landorus doesn't really care about that too much, but a U-turn into Ogerpon could be really nice, and a Flash Cannon could be a really good follow-up. Also, I got an Intimidate drop into them, so you know what? I think I'm going to Flash Cannon the Whimsicott, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to U-turn and bring in Thundurus. So, Whimsicott's going for the Tailwind. You know what? That's fine. Ogerpon is at -1. The Ivy Cudgel should just kind of... There's that. Okay. You know what? We're going to break a Sash off the Whimsicott. I can bring in Thundurus if I want. Or I bring in Chi-Yu. Actually, Chi-Yu looks like it might be okay. Because what I can do is I can protect Chi-Yu. I can go for a Flash Cannon into the Cornerstone. Yeah, I can do that. The other nice thing here, too, is even though they do have Tailwind up, I do have the Intimidate drop into Cornerstone. I can Flash Cannon them. They might follow me instead, which could be a little bit annoying, but it wouldn't be the worst thing imaginable. Alright, Fluttermane comes in here. Alright, so Booster Energy Flutter. Ogerpon doesn't do much to Dialga. I think I go for the Flutter. I think I let Chi-Yu be bait and go for Protect. We're going to see a Terastallization. Is this Ogerpon? No, it's the Fluttermane. Okay, so Terra Ground. Okay. Not what I was definitely expecting to see off Fluttermane. That makes me weary of a Terra Blast now coming my way, which I'd rather not take. No thank you. But that at least means that if Terapagos is in the back, I don't have to worry. It's just been blessed. But at least if Terapagos is in the back, now at least I don't have to worry about that. So Chi-Yu does dodge the Ivy Cudgel. We're going to get the Flash Cannon off into Fluttermane. And we pick up the critical hit. Okay, you know what? They got a critical hit with Ogerpon. Dialga got a critical hit into Fluttermane. You know what? I'm okay with that. They get a crit, I get a crit. You know what? Fair enough. And Terapagos comes in here, which means Terapagos can now eat a Lava Plume. Yeah, you know what, though? I could still hypothetically take a... I could hypothetically take an Earth Power with Dialga, which I don't really want to do. I'm going to bring in Landorus. And the main logic behind this is I'm going to get another Intimidate drop into the Ogerpon. I still have my Terra, which would be nice. The Ogerpon getting a -1 right there is going to be very helpful. They have Tailwind up for at least another turn. Ivy Cudgel is going to come in, finish off Landorus, but this is going to let me bring in Thundurus or Chi-Yu. It at least lets me preserve my Protect on Chi-Yu. And there is an Earth Power into my Dialga, which is not ideal. But what I can do here is I could bring in Thundurus maybe next turn. Protect with Chi-Yu. Dodge a Earth Power or an Ivy Cudgel with Chi-Yu. This is their very last turn of Tailwind. So I'm going to bring in Thundurus. And I'm going to Protect with Chi-Yu. Now, what I could also do, too, is I could protect Chi-Yu from taking at least a super effective hit from an Ivy Cudgel by going for Terra Ghost. I would also potentially live a... Earth Power, too. But now I'm in a nice position where I can go for a... I can go for a Scary Face into the Ogerpon. I can also go for an Eerie Impulse. I think what I do here is I go for a Scary Face into the Ogerpon, and I think I go for a raw Heat Wave. And then that way, too, if I get a Speed Drop into the Ogerpon and either burn this thing or just connect with it in general, we should do some respectable damage. Terra Shell is going to make this resisted, which, you know what, that's fine. I just want to get the Terapagos under control here. We're going to take an Earth Power. That's going to bring me down to my Sash. If I take an Ivy Cudgel into Chi-Yu, great. I'm taking this into Thundurus instead, so you know what? That's perfectly fine thanks to the Intimidate drops. I'm going to Eerie Impulse the Terapagos. And I'm going to go for another Heat Wave. And I just need to connect with the Ogerpon. How confident am I in Dialga being able to take out both of these? Because, really, the other thing, too, is the Ogerpon dodges that, which I kind of needed to hit. Terapagos is at -2. Dialga's taken some damage. I think this is a knockout. Oh, no, it's not. Okay. I don't need to worry about Dialga now. What I think I can do is I think I can Discharge. I think I Discharge and... I think I just Discharge and Flash Cannon. I'm I'm going to Flash Cannon into the Terapagos. There's the Follow Me, so you know what? Discharge is going to at least hit both of them, and Flash Cannon is not a bad thing to hit either of these Pokemon. -2 Earth Power. Ooh, that's a little scary. I should have probably Terastallized, but you know what? We're going to get our Discharge off. That is going to knock out Terapagos, and this is going to clean up the Ogerpon right here. So, the Eerie Impulse definitely came in clutch there, for sure. And we are going to get the Flash Cannon off finally with Dialga to knock out the Cornerstone Ogerpon. So what I probably should have did was I should have gone for the Terra Ghost. That would have made me neutral to the Ivy Cudgel, but they were at -2 attack at that point, so probably would have been okay. Horn Leech probably wouldn't have done much. If it had Woodhammer, Woodhammer could have potentially been scary, but it would have been alright at the end of the day. So yeah, I mainly kept the Steel typing because I was a little bit weary of the Ivy Cudgel maybe getting a crit if I'd gone Terra Ghost. So yeah, the nice thing though is I did pick up the KO with the Discharge. So Sludge Bomb might have been enough to knock out the Ogerpon, but I'm not 100% confident in that because I'm a very bulky Thundurus instead of an offensive one. But anyways, I rambled on long enough for that. Good game to my opponent. Hey, thank you guys so much for checking out this Dialga Origin team in action. We had a lot of fun with telepathy, allowing Dialga to dodge Thundurus's discharges, and Thundurus just pulled a tremendous amount of weight in this video. I'm very happy about how it played out because we had Eerie Impulse to keep not one but two different Terapagoses in check, and we were able to get some paras with the discharge, which was just delightful. In our first match against one of the two different Terapagos teams that we encountered, we were able to go for the Protect on the Amoongus. We went for the Lava Plume. We almost one-shot our opponent's Amoongus, and we picked up the burn right there. Now, it was a little bit of a shame that we didn't pick up that KO and the Amoongus put Chi-Yu to sleep, but Chi-Yu did a tremendous amount of damage, and ironically enough, it was actually my Amoongus that finished off theirs with a Pollen Puff, so that was relatively nice, and plus we got to put their Fluttermane to sleep, and honestly, it worked out in our favor because they put us to sleep, we put them back to sleep, and Dialga was able to hit the Fluttermane with a Flash Cannon. The Fluttermane and Dialga both were put to sleep, but luckily Dialga was able to wake up and not get knocked out by Terapagos and Fluttermane, and was able to land that Flash Cannon into them. And then we played another Terapagos team, which had a team of Pokemon that just really did not want to take Steel-type attacks, and Dialga was more than eager to show them why they didn't want to take Steel-type attacks, because we had Ogerpon Cornerstone, we had Whimsicott, we had a Terapagos, which honestly that was the only thing out of those four that really didn't appreciate I mean, it didn't mind taking the Flash Cannon, but it wasn't going to be the greatest for them. And honestly, it was nice there too because we were also able to Eerie Impulse that Terapagos. We brought Landorus in not once but twice to intimidate the Ogerpon, and we just kind of let things fall into place with it boiling down to Terapagos and Ogerpon versus my Thundurus and Dialga. We got the -2 special attack drop into the Terapagos. We got the -2 speed drop into the Ogerpon. One thing I probably should have did though, like I said at the end of that match though, is I probably should have popped the Terra Ghost on Dialga just in case the Earth Power did pick up a crit. Fortunately it didn't, but it did do a fair amount of damage to Dialga, but we were able to pick up the KO into the Terapagos with Discharge. We got the Para into the Ogerpon, and the Ogerpon just got cleaned up by the Flash Cannon off of my Dialga. And then we also ran into a Regigigas team on a Calyrex Shadow Rider team, and Regigigas just had a phenomenal time against me. It was our one loss in the match, or in the video here, and basically, skill swap Pure Power onto Regigigas hurts. It also was really unfortunate that I didn't call the Terra Fire, and if I had called the Terra Fire and maybe gone Dark Pulse and a Earth Power instead, we might have had a different setup, but the one problem there was if I had gone Terra Ghost onto Dialga, well then I would have unfortunately had a very bad matchup against their Calyrex Shadow Rider, which they did have the Clefairy, so it was good to get the fake tears off into the Clefairy and then just hit them with a Heat Wave, which that did do a tremendous amount of damage, and then Grimmsnarl was able to finish that off, but unfortunately, the Regigigas was just able to just steamroll through my entire team until the point where it was just my Thundurus left, and then their Calyrex Shadow Rider came in and just said thank you and hit me with an Astral Barrage. And then finally, our last opponent was a Regulation B team right here. We ended up having no restricted legendaries, and my opponent did a tremendous job fending off my team, because my team has not one but 4 different legendaries, one restricted, then there's Thundurus, Landorus, and Chi-Yu. So you know what, they did a really good work. They were able to have things kind of work out in their favor, because they did get a freeze off a freeze dry not once but twice. They ended up putting Chi-Yu into a frozen state, and then they got Grimmsnarl the following turn with their Iron Bundle, which was just unfortunate for me. But we did get Thundurus in there with Dialga for a fresh start. Thundurus went for the Terra Electric boosted discharge to knock out the Iron Bundle, which was relatively nice because we did get the paralysis, or not the paralysis, the fake tears off into it. So that bundle just exploded as soon as it took the discharge. Fluttermane got revenge for bundle by knocking out Thundurus and breaking through its Terra, but Dialga was able to finish off the Terra Fairy Fluttermane with a Flash Cannon. Plenty of Fluttermanes took Flash Cannons today, so very happy about that with the Dialga. And actually, going back to that second Tropicos team, the last Pokemon was Fluttermane with Terra Ground, which did catch me off guard just a little bit. But even though they did go for the Terra Ground to drop the weakness to Steel, we landed a critical hit on them anyway, so it didn't really matter, which honestly, I'm okay with that, because their Ogerpon also hit my Landorus with an Ivy Cudgel and landed a critical hit, almost one-shotting it, so I think that was a fair trade at the end of the day. Anyways, once again, thank you guys so much for checking out this team. Be sure to let me know what you think of it down in the comments below, and if you have any ideas for Dialga in the future, whether it be Origin or non-Origin, be sure to let me know down there as well. See you later.